the party insists that it is zoning to the south, then perhaps, maybe my best choice will be to zone it to the south. For the PDP and for the north, I will prefer that President Jonathan, takes the ticket. Not because I do not like Obi, but because that will ensure that the south will have completed their 4 years. When somebody is on the throne, you elect him. You can't pin him down and say, okay, you must do 4 years.
But Peter Obi is on record saying he can do 4 years and bow out.
Well, it's just a political talk, because
you don't trust him.
No, I don't. It's not about trusting him. The issue is, how are you sure that thing will materialize?
Yeah, but he said it. No, we expect that for a man who has a lot of stock in integrity, his word would be his bond.
What I'm taking is this way: the difference between somebody making a promise and somebody who is compelled by the law that he must live. Which one will you take? This one is compelled by the law. He does not need to make any promise. He has to go after 4 years. This one is making a promise. A promise can be kept and may not be kept. Either way. But on this one, you are sure that it must be kept. So for the North, I think Goodluck Jonathan is the best choice.
This is very funny. The same Goodluck Jonathan and his wife that had declared their support for Tinubu in 2027, or is there another Goodluck Jonathan in Nigeria? Anyway, to the uninitiated to Nigerian politics, this is actually a campaign for Atiku Abubakar. Yes, despite the fact that he didn't mention him by name, it's a campaign for Atiku Abubakar and a demarketing of Peter Obi. He's actually trying to convince people that it is better for the North to support someone who is constitutionally bound to one term. He doesn't realize that should include Tinubu. Yes. Also, by making this argument, he's indirectly exposing the fact that he doesn't care about competence, or maybe the North don't really care about competence. All they want is power to come back to the North. This also explains why Atiku Abubakar is insisting that he will run in 2027, despite the fact that 2027 should be the southern turn. Just like this guy said, because if it isn't the southern turn, why is he talking about Goodluck Jonathan contesting and being better for the North, unlike Peter Obi, who is not constitutionally bound? So every time it is the southern turn, you see the likes of Atiku Abubakar spreading narratives that it must be an open primaries. They are always against zoning, but when it is the northern turn, you see them shouting and claiming justice, this, that it must be zoned. Just like Atiku Abubakar abandoned and betrayed Goodluck Jonathan, moved to APC and contested the presidential primaries, which he of course lost. He justified it at the time because it was the turn of the North to produce the president. What happened in 2023? After a northerner, Muhammadu Buhari, spent 8 years in power, Atiku Abubakar also contested. He didn't talk about zoning. He couldn't accept zoning at the time. He made sure it was an open primaries so that he could contest. In 2027, he's also insisting that it will not be zoned to the south, despite 2027 being the turn of the south. So you can see the hypocrisy here. They don't want the ticket of ADC to be zoned to the south because Atiku Abubakar wants to contest. Because of the ambition of one man, they want the coalition to not even take off before the election. Yes, because of his personal ambition. Exactly the same thing he did in PDP. Exactly how 5 governors left PDP in 2022 because of Atiku Abubakar. This is exactly the same thing he wants to do to ADC. One more thing is, when they throw these types of jabs at Peter Obi, it becomes obvious that they don't truly know him. They don't know him well enough. If Peter Obi is a desperate politician, he would outspend Atiku Abubakar. He would match him dollar for dollar, naira for naira. Forget about showmanship and private jets. Peter Obi can afford all this, but he's not just the type that likes to show off. He's a very humble person. And because Atiku Abubakar is able to buy delegates and buy the presidential ticket, doesn't necessarily mean he spends the equivalent amount of money during elections. Why do you think APC and Tinubu are targeting states that normally sponsor PDP during elections? Yes, look at 2023 presidential election for instance. Ifeanyi Okowa, the then governor of Delta State, had to borrow billions of naira from Nigerian banks in order to finance the election. In fact, it was because of that money that made Atiku Abubakar to choose him as the VP candidate in the first place. His modus operandi has always been buy the presidential ticket at all costs. Once his name is on the ticket, he will start moving around and negotiating with many people. What do you want? I will give you this when I get to government. How much are you contributing to the campaign? And all these PDP governors, especially in the oil-producing states, will be donating billions of naira to fund the presidential campaign. Today, the chief funder of their presidential election in 2023 has already jumped ship and decamped to APC. Look at all the oil-producing states. They are no longer in PDP. Bayelsa State Governor is still being rumored that he would decamp to APC. Maybe he's leaving that for the late hour. So once Atiku Abubakar is on the ticket, money will be flowing to the boys. All these political jobbers will be busy. They will be trooping into Adamawa or Abuja home of Atiku Abubakar and money will be flowing. But if someone like P2B is on the ticket of the ADC or any other coalition for that matter, you won't see that money. Look at how he campaigned in 2022 before the 2023 presidential election. Many support groups were using their personal money, mobilizing people with their own money. No one will do this for Atiku Abubakar. No one will do it for PDP. Yes, they live for the money. The reason they are political jobbers is they will just go and craft one thing. They just go and meet the contestant, table the proposal to him, and he will dole out money to them. That's their job. And they live for it. They always hope on it that every election cycle, they already have a target. Maybe they will calculate that they will make a total of 10 million from one particular candidate. It depends on what you are contesting. If it's the presidency, that means maybe they will be calculating that they will extort up to 50 million naira from that person. So these are the issues. These guys don't actually believe in Atiku Abubakar. All they see is money. This is election time. We must make money. And now it seems the tide is moving against Atiku Abubakar in the coalition. Many in the coalition are somehow waiting for him to throw in the towel. If not, they have to confront him and insist that the ticket must be zoned to the south. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Do they really want to make the same mistake or do exactly the same thing they did in 2023? How are they going to get a different result? It doesn't make any sense. Even if no one tells him, he should be able to advise himself and say, okay, I have consulted, I have done this, I have done that. Let the ticket be zoned to the south. Or I am supporting so-so person. Yes, this is clear for every reasonable person to understand. If they don't understand, if they don't want to do the right thing and keep pushing and pushing because of their personal interest, then Tinubu will demystify them, especially the CPC guys. If he ends up taking the credit as the man that demystified the North, the Northwestern people that always feel if they don't support any candidate, that candidate cannot win the election, this, that, he will demystify them if they make the mistake of supporting a Northerner, not just Atiku Abubakar. Yes, this is the time for the South. Why do they think Tinubu is concentrating on the South? It is simply because he wants to win the entire South and get some votes in the Middle Belt. If he does that, he has already won. Yes, even without rigging. So if they feel they have to support Atiku Abubakar, or maybe someone like Goodluck Jonathan, who is not even sure that he will win the South-South region, yes, Nigeria of 2025, not to talk of 2027, is not the same as Nigeria of 2015. That is the reality. Do you know what it means for seasoned politicians that are involved with the coalition to hand the ticket to a Northerner, not just Atiku Abubakar, at this time? Not that Nigerian politicians can't do the unthinkable, because they are always concerned about their personal interest, not national interest. But will they really do that in 2027? If they actually do that, that means they were never about winning an election. They were about making sure that Tinubu wins. There's no other way to explain it. Yes, it's just like people who hate Rufai, even more than Tinubu that Rufai is campaigning against. How do you hate someone despite the fact that both of you share the common enemy? Many of the people that hate Rufai, they do not want Tinubu to continue beyond 2027. But they take issue with Rufai joining in that campaign. Yes, it's very, very strange. How do you explain it? How can someone eat his cake and have it? Both of you have the same objective. You now start bringing in morality. There's no morality in politics. What you need to do is get there first. When you get there, you now start talking about morality, because you want to lead by example. You want to show Nigerians that the leadership structure in Nigeria can be comprised of decent people, not people who come with baggage. So at this point, you're going for that power. You don't need to be saying this person is that, this person is this. No, even a tout is valuable in campaigns. Yes, they all have something to contribute. If you are contesting for an election, whether councillorship, chairmanship, any elective position, you have to knock on all doors to promote yourself, to market yourself. Even the door of your enemy, you have to go there and knock. Please, I'm contesting. Will you vote for me? I want you to vote for me. Please, forget what happened between me and you. I'm contesting. This is the day of the election. Please come out to vote for me. If you can do that when you're contesting an election, then you're a hypocrite if you take issue with Rufai campaigning with the coalition or the opposition against Tinubu. Thanks for watching.